So I decided to start a YouTube channel about 3 months ago, and in this video I'm going to share with you some of the things that I've learned along the way. I don't know if anyone else thinks about this, but I've thought about it for years before I decided to start. I wondered if YouTube could be a thing for me. I wondered if I could be a YouTuber. So the idea, I threw it around in my head for a while. Mostly it was casually throwing it around, kind of just being curious about it. I thought maybe I could do it, but what would I talk about? What could I say that other people would want to hear? I also knew that if I started, I would have to commit to it and make it something that I do consistently. And not, I wanted to make it something that I wouldn't give up on. So I'd have to focus on making content every week and making it a big focus in my life. After 3 months of doing it, I have to say that it really is a big commitment. So you have to make it a part of your life, and you have to be okay with it not making any money for you, for a while at least. Most people don't make a dime from YouTube in at least the first 6 months. Of course, there's exceptions to the rule, but that's just normal for most people. So having said that, I'd still encourage anyone to start a YouTube channel, but I also think that you have to decide whether it's right for you and your situation. You may not have the same ambitions that I do for it, and that's fine. But I do think that a lot of people could benefit from it, whether it be for your own personal development or for a way for you to express yourself creatively, or if you have things in your life that you just want to talk about. There are also reasons like business or sharing your knowledge or building a personal brand. I talk about building a brand in other videos, and I believe that is very powerful. The majority of people don't even realize the power that a personal brand has or how it can transform their lives. I don't think a lot of people really understand what a personal brand even is. So it's tough when you see other people on YouTube being able to talk proficiently about things and seeing how good their content is and how good their videos look and how well they're edited. Before I started, I couldn't even talk in front of a camera without stumbling over my words. It was a difficult thing to do, and it felt really awkward. When I started, I made a commitment to myself to record a video and post it every day for 30 days to get past the fear and to get better at it. I learned a lot in those 30 days. I also heard feedback from people, and they were inspired by what I was doing. And I helped a couple of people to get motivated enough to start their own channels. And I felt like I was getting somewhere in my journey and that I was able to help others get to that point too, where, I was a little bit past where they were. And so I could kind of motivate them in a way. And that was encouraging. And as I finished my 30-day challenge, I really did get improvement. I really did feel more confident and more comfortable. But now there was a new challenge. I struggled with what to say and coming up with content and writing and reading scripts. Turning on the camera and just talking about what was on my mind was okay, but there was really so much that I could say. So the point of the 30-day challenge was to get better at talking to camera, but what I really needed to do was to find my unique voice and my personality. I have to admit that I'm still working on that now, and that might take a long time to dial in. When we look at other YouTubers and we see, the ones that have millions of subscribers, we think we can never do that. We can never be that good. We can never be at that level. And there's a disconnect to where they are and where we are. And what's funny about that is if you go to their videos, you go to their channels and you look at their older stuff wasn't always that good. A lot of it was unpolished and it looked very, very much like, they were beginning their journey too. So it's encouraging to look at some of that stuff. If you see the big channels and you go back and you look at their early videos, you'll see that, they didn't start where they're at. It took them a long time to get there, and it just took practice on their part. And that's pretty crazy to think about, that all they did was they just did it over and over, and they got better at it. They learned along the process and they got better at it. And that's another good reason to start YouTube as soon as you can, so that you can start to see this success that they're seeing. You can start to see it sooner. You'll never get where you want to be if you don't start. So when we think about YouTube, we think it's going to take a long time to get where we want to be. And yes, that's true. You're not going to make 3 videos and go viral if you've never done YouTube before. But if you think about it, 1 year isn't really that far away. Think about what you were doing a year ago. Now think if you had decided to start YouTube a year ago and where you would be with it right now. Even if you wouldn't have 100,000 subscribers, you would know a year's worth of things that you learned. Things that you can't just teach, you have to do them to understand. Hands-on experience with a bunch of different skills. And a lot of people take 4 years of their life to go to school, and they focus on learning at school, and they pay a lot of money for that. And they do that so they can have a job on the other side of it. And learning it, we understand it as an investment. It's something that you put your time in, and you put money into in order to get the benefit of the learning experience out of it. And if you think about it, YouTube is a learning experience that you can benefit from in different ways, and it can even pay you along the way. And probably, within a year or two, you can start getting paid by hands-on experience, by doing what you want to do. And it's a learning experience for you that, you won't have student loans at the end of it that you have to pay back. And, if you think about how much you would learn in just a year's time, but think about how much you would learn after 4 years' time of, just doing YouTube for 4 years, the skills that you would learn and the people that you would connect with in that 4-year time. And YouTube is hard. I'm not going to lie. It's hard to come up with content regularly, and it's hard to film it regularly, and it's hard to edit it. There's a lot of learning that you have to do, especially in the beginning, and it takes a lot of time, and it takes time out of your day. It takes time away from other things that you could be doing instead. So hopefully the better that you get at it, the easier it gets. But I have to be honest, it's still a lot of work, and there's always something new to learn, and you have to commit to it. If you don't commit to doing it, you might as well not even start it. It isn't something you can grow if you're not putting out content regularly. It's like a TV show. If you only do 1 season, it's probably not going to be very successful. A lot of times the first season in a series is pretty rough around the edges. I remember watching the first season of Seinfeld, and it was a lot different than the rest of the series. If you watch it in order, you can see the progression of the series and how it got funnier and the characters developed. And if you've wondered about starting and it's always been on your mind, but you've never really made the plunge, then you're never going to know unless you start if you like it or if it's for you. And the later that you start, that's how much further behind you're going to be in your schedule. If you never start, then you're never going to know what was right for you, if it was right for you or not. And the sooner that you start, the sooner that you're going to find out. And it's not something that you can just start and then turn it off. So if you've been on the fence, commit to it and try it for a year. If it doesn't work or you decide that you don't want to do it, then at least you gave it a shot, and now you know after trying it that it wasn't for you.